How many times do you know people that have set goals, whether it's like a New Year's resolution, and it's only around the corner, they set the New Year's resolutions, and then all these good intentions, January out of the way, February comes, March, it's the classic, innit? The gyms get empty again, the goal or the thing that they want to do, it just fails, and it fails. And then you wait all the way till Christmas, and it's like it happens again. Also, throughout the year, I've lost count historically when I was younger. How many times, we've all done it. We've all set goals, or we've had dreams and an outcome that we want to achieve, and we don't end up getting it. For loads of reasons. A lot of it's BS, and there's obviously some genuine reasons. Life gets in the way, etc. So today, don't go anywhere, because I want to share with you a system that I learned many, many years ago, and that I put into practice, and it just blew me away. It was transformational. And the reason I wanted to share this with you today, because so many people that come across my radar with IBS, men, irritable bowel syndrome, and say, I really want to get this under control. I want to master these symptoms day in, day out, so I can have an amazing life. I can do the things that I want to do, have that good intention, but they never get the outcome. They fail. No matter what they try, diets, seeing specialists, might even come to work with us, whatever that looks like, reading books, this, that, the other, and we still fail. So today I'm going to share a 7-step system with you that's going to be, it's simple, it is really, really simple to do. It's not easy, it's going to make you think. So if you're not into thinking, and if you're not willing to put the work in for yourself, your family, your legacy, to earn more, be more, then this is not for you. You can switch off now and maybe go and watch cat or dog videos on Instagram Reels. But if you're in the market for something that's going to transform your life, not just your IBS, but your wealth, your health, your happiness, the big three, and goal setting and getting things that you want in life, and obviously you can pass this down to your children, to your friends, etc., then don't go anywhere, because I'm going to share I'm going to give you some stories, some examples of in my life where it's happened, where it hasn't happened. And then also, towards the end of the video, I'm going to tell you how to do it. So I'm not just going to show you what this is. I am going to obviously explain that and where I got it from, but I'm going to show you how I did it, and then you could maybe try it yourself, and who knows, it could transform your life, and I hope it does. So without further ado, how do we crush these big goals? I mean, we've got Christmas around the corner now. If you celebrate Christmas, it's the holiday season. We're in December. 2024 is nearly finished. It's come to an end, and we're almost stepping into the next year, 2025. The world is crazy. We've got, if you're in America, we've got the Republicans and again taking over in January for inauguration with Donald Trump and his party. Be good for some people, it'll be excellent for others, it'll be outstanding for others, but it'll be a nightmare for others. So whatever. And this is not a politics video, but there's loads of stuff happening. It's all crazy still out, in Russia and Ukraine, Israel, Iran. There's this, that, the other. The world is crazy. But at the same time, a lot of that is outside of our control. But what we can do is control the controllables, things that are inside of our control, inside of your control. Now, obviously, these videos are geared around men with IBS. So have an open mind. Again, if you're a man and you're watching this and you've got a good imagination, you can read between the lines. There's a lot of metaphors in here, but it all steers and aims, points towards IBS. But you can apply it to anything. You can apply it to any area of your health, whether you want to lose weight, you want to gain muscle mass, where maybe you want to earn more income. This 7-step system can be used for all of that as well. Happy with that? So without further ado, we're going to look at how to crush these goals in 2025 and beyond, and have your best year. And not just have your best year next year, but if you put this into practice, you could use this the rest of your life. And it will transform the way you think, the way you do things, and it will keep you on track. People say all the time, you've got to have a purpose. You've got to have a purpose, a reason why to do the thing that you want to do. And it's the same with anything. If you haven't got a reason why to do something in life or in business, be honest with yourself, because I'll give you some examples from my life. And when I was in the military, it didn't really happen. And in business as well. Whether you're an entrepreneur, things don't happen unless you've got a big enough reason why, a big enough purpose to keep you on track. It's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now. I don't get anything from this other than me giving you this information to hopefully transform a few of your lives moving forwards. That is worth more weight in gold for me. And so again, that's my purpose. It's for me, this is like a spiritual thing where I know that clearly we get clients as well, but this is helping people that we might never even work with. You know what I mean? So there's a reason, and there's a lot more, and I'll share some stuff with you in a second. So you've got to have a big fat reason why, a really juicy reason why, feelings, emotions, you've got to tap into there to move forwards. I want to share a story with you. I'm going to be open with you as always. I'm going to share a story with you from all the way back when I'm going back to 2003. And for some of you that are watching the videos and listening to the podcasts, etc., you'll know the time when I got IBS, my own gut issues, all the way back in 2003, which I've shared with you. And again, I'm not going to repeat that story about the IBS journey today, but just as a reminder. So it's around that time that I was stepping off the plane in Kuwait City in 2003, I think around March, to fight, as you will. That was when we were going to fight in the Iraq War, the Iraq conflict with the American Army. Obviously we was in the British Army, the infantry, and it was the Second Gulf War. Some of you will remember that. I went out there, I was overweight, I was fat. I had a beer belly, and I was carrying all the usual bullshit excuses. I had shin splints, injuries, and I did have injuries, but I was using that as an excuse at the time not to train. But also I was drinking a lot of beer, I was eating a lot of rubbish food, takeaways, and over a period of time, up to going to Iraq, I'd put quite a bit of weight on, which is not good, especially as an infantry soldier. I was a section commander, so I was in charge of 7 other men under my command, and yeah, I wasn't absolutely huge, but I was on track for getting there. And so we get to Kuwait, and I've never been to war before. I'd been in the army. I was a corporal. I'd been in the army probably over 10 years, and we were based in Germany. And I'd been on operations, Northern Ireland, Kosovo, peacekeeping, etc. Seen a few stuff, but I'd never been in a war zone. So here I am in Kuwait City with all the, my battalion, the Duke of Wellington's regiment, and the American Army are cutting around. There's a few special forces here and there, getting ready. There's helicopters flying it all over the place. The things are starting to happen. And I'm like, wow, this is really happening. We're in a flipping war zone. This is crazy. Anyway, to make it even, I guess crazier still, is the Sergeant Major at the time said to us all, right, you need to sit down, guys, on your own, find a quiet space, and here's a bluey, which is a blue sheet of paper, so basically like a self-addressed envelope, and you need to write on there a letter to whoever in your family, your next of kin, your loved one who's closest to you, your next of kin, in the unfortunate event of your death. So if you get killed in action. And all these will get held by me in a safety deposit box. And should you sadly get taken away and killed in action, that letter will be sent straight away to your wife, husband, mum, dad, whatever. I was like, blimey, never done this before. So anyway, there I am. I've got my bluey, I've got a pen. I'm sat down on an old cardboard box turned upside down, and I'm there. I've got my gas mask at the side of me because things were happening. We kept getting attacked. Missiles kept hitting around camps, and we were having to constantly put our gas mask on and off, and getting to a nuclear, biological, blooming chemical kit and take it off, on, off. It was crazy because obviously at the time we thought there was weapons of mass destruction again. So I'm sat there and I'm writing this letter to she's now my ex-wife, but at the time I was married and I had 3 children. I had twin boys who I think at the time were 2 years old, and an 9-month-old little girl. And I'm sat there and I put dear. I'm like, what do I write? What do you write to somebody that you want them to read? Apart from I love you and I love the children and this, that, the other. It's quite upsetting. It is quite upsetting when you sat there and then you think, and I didn't know it at the time, but you start thinking at deeper layers. You're pulling the layers back on kind of like any regrets or maybe things that you've been putting off wanting to do, or things that you notice about yourself or others that you think, right, if I get through this, I'm going to take massive action. And one of the things for me, as I mentioned, was I was overweight. I'd put quite a bit of weight on. I had a bit of a fat belly, bit chubby. I was fit, so I was really, really fit, but I didn't look the part. And that's it. I'm going to get a grip of this. I'm going to get a grip of this. When I get back, I'm going to lose this weight now. Now I'm going to take action. Now I'm going to get rid of this weight and I'm going to get lean again. I'm going to get, ripped again, and I'm going to stay lean. I'm not just going to lose the fat. I'm going to keep it off. And I started thinking, why do I want to do that? Well, I'm not leading by example for my children, because if they see me, they're only 2 and 8, 9 months. But if they start growing up and I've got all these bad eating habits and lifestyle choices, and I'm drinking heavily and got all this weight on, it's not setting them up for success, seeing the dad like that. Especially when I'm meant to be fit, soldier, dad. So there was a few things there that I started thinking about. I didn't put that in the letter, but, and I obviously wrote this letter and I said, look, in the unfortunate, if you're reading this, the bad news is the worst news if you've got this letter. And I obviously poured my heart out in that letter about my children and, telling them my feelings and everything else. Wow. Yeah. So bear that in mind. So that was 2003 to, come back from Iraq. And then moving forwards, and by the way, when I got back from Iraq, so I lost the weight. The weight came off out there, to be fair. Eating rations and the red hot heat, out on patrol all the time, carrying loads of kit. Just 4.5 months out there. I came back from Iraq skinny. I was really, really slim. And yeah, probably looked unhealthy. Chiseled face and I'd probably 2-3% body fat. And I thought, right, I'm at a good starting point now. It's like a blessing. There was a blessing in it because I came back from Iraq. Nothing too bad happened out there to me and the guys. So it's like, okay, I've got a good starting point now, a good foundation. All I need to do is keep it off. But as you can appreciate there, with that story of the time I was in Iraq, writing that letter, finding some reasons why, a purpose, as you will, to lose the fat, lose the weight, get lean, get healthier, even though I was fit, and have that the reason for that. At the end of the day, I didn't want the worst to happen. I didn't want to not come back from Iraq and have my children at such a young age not have a dad. And when you have that kind of realisation, it gives you a purpose that it goes from logic into your heart, into the feelings, and once it goes from there into there, things start to happen. But I didn't know at the time. I didn't know about the 7-layer system that I'm going to share with you because I'd not read the book. I'd not put that into practice. I think that was, looking back, as I said before, that was an element of it, unbeknown to me at the time. And we're going to dive deeper. So here I am. I'm quite good at goal setting anyway, or I was in the army. I was getting promoted and this, that, the other. And I'd kind of nailed it. I wasn't always successful with certain goals. And we never are. Some goals we don't achieve. For whatever reason, life gets in the way. Some things aren't achievable. We can try and genuinely try, but sometimes most things are. So that's that. So then what happened from that point then, moving forward, we're going to skip forwards a few years now to, and I'm going to give you an example of not having any purpose, because that was me having a little bit of purpose there, as you can see, reasons why. It was for mainly for my children, for my own health, for myself and for them, to lose that weight and to get healthier again when I came back from Iraq. Another occasion where, and before we're going to give you one more example, then I'm going to dive into the 7 layers and how it works and how it transformed my life in an area, and I'll give you an example of that as well. So stick around. I'm going back to about 2006. Around 2006, I just finished a promotional course in the infantry called Senior Brecon, or the Platoon Sergeant's Battle Course. I finished that in Brecon at the Battle School in Wales. And I was fit, really, really fit. Because it's, as you can probably work out, a battle course, and it's for promotion to sergeant, to be a platoon sergeant in the infantry. So to do that, it was obviously sleep deprivation, loads of running around, carrying loads of heavy kit, working under pressure, etc., etc. So I came back from that course. I passed it. I got a good pass on that, and I came back again, super slim, super fit, and I thought, right, I'm gonna address a little itch of mine throughout my army career, and it was probably a seed planted as a child when I watched the Special Air Service, the SAS, on TV as a kid going into the Iranian embassy. If you've not, it's on YouTube. Have a look at it. It's gleaming. Where they've got, it was the first time I think ever in history where the SES were on television, televised, live, on the news. And I remember watching that as a kid and thinking, wow. So an itch of mine in the military, because I was keen, I was doing all these, I was a corporal, then a sergeant, and all these courses, I wanted to try the SES. I wanted to be part of the Special Forces since a kid. So I went on this, I put my name down for the SES and I started training for it in 2006. And I was, properly going for it with a friend of mine who's in the same unit. And I went on selection. And at the time, there was a lot going on in my life. My marriage was falling apart with my now ex-wife. That was starting to fall apart at the hinges. Things weren't too great at home, financially as well because of all that. There was a few debts piling up. There's a lot going on. And in work, everything was fine. I was going up through the ranks. Obviously, I was on SES selection now. My name was down for it. I was attending this course. So that's, it's a really good thing. It means you're an awesome soldier, that you're fit. And that's not an ego. I'm just giving you an example. So I then went on SES selection and I probably got to the end of second week, where it's the hills phase, and you do something called the fan dance, which is about 16 miles over with loads of kit on and a weapon, and you've got 4 hours to do 16 miles up and down. It's called Pen y Fan. It's a mountain in Wales. You've got to go up the mountain, down, round, right to a turnaround point, and then back again in 4 hours or less. Now I did that, and I got in at about 3.5 hours, 3 hours 40 minutes. So I was well under the time, flying around it, fit, and just on the way in, my ankle went over. Just as I was finishing, sod's law, my ankle went over, and at the time I didn't know, but I knew I was badly injured. It swelled up straight away. There was bruising, and I tore the ligaments in my left ankle. So I got on the back of the truck, feeling sorry for myself, popped a few painkillers. I had the weekend off because that was on a Friday, so I had the weekend off, ice packs, leg up in the air, all this jazz to try and get my leg better, ready for Monday, because I had the hills phase carried on. This 4 weeks is the hills phase. So I got to week 3, after week, ankles in tatters, all strapped up, painkillers to the max, and I tried. I kept going and doing all the yomps across the mountains, and I was coming over the time. I was getting round, navigating round okay, but I was over the time because I couldn't go fast enough because of my ankle. And in the end, the course officer, an SAS captain, pulled me to one side and he said, Glenn, he says, you need to go see a medic. You're limping and your timings are all off. Are you all right? I said, well, my ankle. And he's looked at my ankle and he said, right, go and see the medic. And the medic says, yeah, you're not going to get through this. Walking and running around on that on torn ligaments or whatever. You need to go to the hospital, get it looked at, get it sorted out. So I came off that course medically. It's medically taken off it. So I didn't get in. I didn't get badged and I didn't join the SAS. And it's not something I tell everybody. It's something I've kept close to my heart, which you'll understand in a minute. Because it's a bit embarrassing when you fail something. I don't like failing, as you probably as you get to know me on these videos and stuff. I like success. Who doesn't? You know what I mean? Who doesn't like to be successful? Now, obviously, we're not successful at everything in life, but it is nice to be successful. And I felt like a failure. I'd come off SES selection, I had all these big dreams of being in the SES and all this sort of stuff. But being transparent, my heart was not in that. My heart wasn't in it. So again, it was probably a blessing in disguise, getting injured, because if I'd have not got injured and just carried on, I'd have probably passed the hills phase and then gone to the jungle, and I would have probably quit. I probably would, when things got difficult and tricky. Do you know what I mean? Because I was even having doubts on the hills phase. I was thinking, if I get in the SES, they go all over the world, doing things they're not allowed to talk about. I'm not really going to see my children. I'm splitting up with my wife. So seeing my kids is going to be limited anyway. It's going to be tricky being in the army full stop. So being in the SAS, it's going to be 10x more difficult to see them. So I had all these thoughts going around in my head, as well as other stuff you can imagine. So my heart wasn't in it. I didn't have, pulling it back to the story of Iraq, I didn't have a big enough reason why to get into the SAS. I just wanted to get in because, the kudos, it looked good to have the Desert Beret, the blue stable belt, and be part of that elite regiment. I assumed, or I believed I was good enough. I was a keen soldier, very professional. I thought I could add value in that arena, in that space, and thought, yeah, let's do this. And it's loads more money. But it was for them, for the wrong reasons. It wasn't for deep enough reasons. And I'm going to go on to, so that was an example there. I came off injured, but being transparent, if I'd have stayed on, I would have quit. My heart wasn't in it. I would not have, I believe now, looking back, knowing what I know now, I wouldn't have got in and got through, into the SES at that time. Then moving forwards, I could have gone back for it. Again, because of my kids and stuff, I didn't bother. But what I then did is I sat down, and again, reasons why I wasn't really in a position in the infantry, because we were still going away a lot. I was destined at the time to go to Afghanistan, done all the training for that and vaccinations, etc. And luckily, I guess in hindsight, I just didn't end up going to Afghanistan. My platoon, I was platoon sergeant, got stood down from going out there at that time. And I had a bit of a thought that I'm not really seeing my children. They're crying all the time. They're missing me. I'm missing them. I'm single because I'd split up with her now. Life's pretty poo. And I need to sort out a divorce, and I've got all these drama. What can I do? I don't want to leave the army. What can I do where I can still stay in the army, support them financially, and be in a position where I can see them? And then I looked at joining another unit called the Small Arms School Corps, which is specialist. It's not special forces, but it's more of again, you've got to do it from inside the army. You can't just join from civilian street. And I did that. This time, and that's difficult. It's not as difficult as the Special Forces, SES, by no means. Nowhere near as difficult as that. SES selection and them boys is the best special. I'm not just saying this because I'm from the UK and I'm biased. They're the best Special Forces unit in the world, the English SES. Well, hands down. If you're watching this and you're a Navy SEALs veteran, apologies, it's just my belief. Sorry. You'll say the same. Americans will say it's Navy SEALs or it's Delta Force, and that's cool. That's cool. And it's like, right, what can I do? So I was joining the SASC, not quite the SES. All right, this is more of a specialist in terms of becoming a subject matter expert for the British Army with weapons, ammunition, explosives, and training and coaching. So that basically helping people succeed internally, officers and non-commissioned officers in their careers and being able to train. It's like train the trainer, all this jazz. And when I went on that course through that 6 months selection phase, I had literally a stack of reasons to pass that and get in. Because the lifestyle of being in that unit was you get a lot of weekends off, kids. You get promoted, pay rise. You get promoted every 2 years, guaranteed, unless you're an idiot. So pay rise, pension, money, which means I can then further support myself and my kids financially, give them more opportunity, because money gives you opportunity, it gives you choices, rather than scratching around for money. So I had all these reasons, and then for myself, it's a sense of achievement. I'm doing something more unique than just staying in the field army. And there was all this stuff, there was loads more. There was like a big stack of reasons, a purpose to go and do that. And when I went in on that course, not only did I pass that course, I came top of that intake. I came top and got a distinguished pass. And then when I got down to Wales and became an instructor and did that job, I was one of the best in that job. And I don't say that as ego or whatever. I'm just showing you how powerful it is to have purpose and have reasons why to achieve a goal. Had I have known that years ago and all that jazz. Right, now you've got all that context, and hopefully you can reflect on your own life. Maybe it's in business, in relationships, in your health, with IBS. You've tried and failed. But you've got to ask yourself, why do you keep failing, or why do you not keep getting the outcome that you're after? Now what we'll talk about is the 7 layers of success. I'll tell you where I got it from, and I'll give you some sources for further educating yourself if needs be. So I've come across a book called Millionaire Success Habits, I think it's called, by Dean Graziosi, an American entrepreneur, multimillionaire. An amazing guy, fantastic. I followed him for a long time, absorbed tons of his content, and I read that book, and he mentioned in there about the 7 layers of success for purpose. After this video, I will put a link, when you see the videos coming up on the screen, I found a video. I dug it out for you earlier. It's about 6 years old with Dean Graziosi talking about it. And I'm gonna put that on there because he'll put a different spin on it to what I will. I'll put my spin on it, how I experienced it and what it did for me, and I'll let him do his bit as well. If you want to watch it, what is that? What is the 7 layers? Now, it's pretty much having an outcome. So let's pull it back to IBS. You want to get IBS success. You want to manage your symptoms. You want to have IBS mastery. You want to live a fulfilling life and not have your diarrhea, constipation, bloating, feeling sick, stinking in the farting, whatever the symptoms are. It's just the symptoms, they're surface level. What are those symptoms doing to you, or what are they not allowing you to do? By having symptoms, what are where is it affecting your life? And you need to get clear on this, guys. You've got to get clear on it, because until you can get crystal clear on how the thing is that's affecting you, that you want to achieve the outcome, it ain't going to happen. It's going to be absolutely difficult to achieve success if you don't know why. You've got to have a starting point. You must have a starting point. Okay, and I'm going to share something else with you in a second that's going to help you be a game changer. I'll mention something in a second. Then, you've got to know why. It's basically the reason why. Why do you want to have IBS mastery? Why do you want to have IBS mastery? Why do you want to sort your symptoms out and manage your symptoms for IBS? That's the first level. Remember, there's 7. So we've got 7 levels now. So the first one is, why do you want the thing that you want? And write it down. Grab a piece of paper and a pen and write it down. Sit in silence, no one around, no distractions, and write it down. And then ask yourself, well, why do I want IBS mastery? Why do I want to manage my symptoms? Well, I want to manage my symptoms because it's dominating my life and it's ruining opportunities, and it's a pain in the arse, basically, isn't it? But what are they? They are surface level. I'm in my head. So this is the thing. So first, why? I'm in my head, surface level. Why are these symptoms doing my head in? Why are these symptoms making me miss opportunities? What opportunities am I missing? Well, I missed parents' evening a couple of nights with my kids, with my ex-wife getting in touch with me saying, can you drive down to parents' evening? Because my symptoms were in the way. I couldn't get off the toilet. So there's all these things, the consequences. I've soiled my pants before while I've been out in the army for a run. And I used to take spares with me, embarrassing. So that was a nightmare. I had to dive in the bushes and get changed. I don't want that to happen again. So there's a few things. I pulled my kids out of the cinema once on a weekend because I needed to dash to the toilet, and they were so young I couldn't leave them sat in the cinema on their own. So to pull them into the blooming so I could go to the toilet, embarrassing, stinks. Having them, what are they thinking? Are they going to get IBS? Because you can pass it on to your kids. So there's all this stuff. But I'm still surface level, I'm in my head. Yeah, there's a bit of feeling attached to it. Why do I want to get IBS mastery? Why do you want to get IBS mastery? Write it down. Okay, it could be that you are afraid, if you're honest with yourself, that if it carries on and you miss too much work and have brain fog or low energy, you could get laid off. You could affect your business or affect your employment. Why is that important to you? Why is it important that you don't let it affect your appointment? Well, if it affects this is second layer now. Well, if it affects my employment or it affects my money, ultimately, that's going to affect mine and my children and my partner's lifestyle. Whether you're married, you've got a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, whatever. It's going to affect them as well. Why is that important that it doesn't affect them and doesn't affect you? Well, because that'll flipping hurt emotionally. And we're asking ourselves, you're asking yourself why at a deeper level. And what happens is you're pulling the layers back and you're taking it from being logic down into emotional. And you'll start coming out with things that you've never thought of before, that's buried in your head. Things that are important to you. To the point where I've seen demonstrations, people doing this, where it's got to the point where even the third level down, I don't want to be a failure. Because I was a failure as a child at school, I failed things at school and I don't want to feel that way again. I got bullied. It can go all the way back then. Do you know? But we forget things. We push things down and we forget. We suppress, and we go forward in life. And it's digging out why. And when you pull that out from inside, whether you get to level 5 or all the way, keep going to level 7. When you pull them genuine reasons out, you've got purpose. and you'll be unstoppable. I'm telling you now, you'll be unstoppable. Absolutely. Now, I used this system loads of times. When I read it in that book, I put it into practice, and I've used it time and time again. You don't always need 7. You can do 3, or maybe 3 reasons why is enough, maybe 5. But 7 is like the sweet spot. Do you know what I mean? I've always wanted to write a book. Well, for a long time, I thought it's a book. It's a bit of a legacy, for my children to have my name on a book. And that was like surface level in my head. And I never got round to writing one. Then one day, I started, this is before I did the 7 layers, I started writing a book. And it's on my desktop. I'm looking at my screen, it's on my desktop, and it's a third of the way through, and it's just been left there for years. So I never got it finished. And then I read that Millionaire Success Habits, the 7 layers, and I thought, I'm going to apply these 7 layers to writing a book. And then before you knew it, so when I sat down, I grabbed a notebook and pen, and why do I want to write a book? To leave a legacy, to be an author, surface level, logic, and to write. It was like to write a book. I just want to write one. Why? Why is that important to leave a legacy? Why is it important to pass on your skills and methods to somebody, the reader out there? Well, because it's going to change lives. It's going to help me help other people to help change their life. So they can use skills that I know work, because I've got that wisdom and I've put them into practice time and time again in terms of, just a spoiler alert, so that when I wrote the book IBS Inversion thinking is what I used in the back end of my military career, and I've used it time and time again. I use it today, and it's phenomenal. But when I wrote this book, or when I went into starting to write this, which is published and it's sold loads of copies and it's helped loads of people, it's like I had to get a purpose of why I want to leave that book. So it's got my name. I could get, if I got killed tomorrow, I've got that out there. For me, it's a bit of a legacy. Not that I'd know if something happened to me, but it's the name, the family name, my daughter's name, maybe something they can be proud of. But deeper than that, it's so I can be successful. I've been unsuccessful before. It's so I can have something out there that's successful. But more than that, the 3rd, 4th level, so I can help people. I want to help people. I want to help you, if you've not read that. But I want to help, that's why I'm making these videos. That's why I write the book. Because for me, it's at such a deep level. More than money. More than just selling it and making £3 or £2 or whatever, $2 or whatever is on flipping Amazon. It's the fact that it can help transform someone's life. It can help by putting the knowledge in there and the wisdom that in that into practice can help men get unstuck. Because that's the thing in it. We go around in life with things we don't know sometimes. You don't know what you don't know. We're stuck. You can't see the woods through the trees. And it was such a deep reason. But I had to do that layer system. I had to go why, and get really real with it. And then I had my purpose. I had a few reasons why, a big reason why. And I had that purpose. And do you know what? I wrote that book in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I mean, it was obviously based around inversion thinking, which is not originally mine. It explains that in the book where I studied that from. It dates back all the way to the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. And it probably goes beyond him. But anyway, and it's in the book. And 2 weeks of graft. Late nights. But I was like a man on fire. You know what I mean? I was just day and night writing it. I didn't want to go to sleep. I wanted to write more chapters. I wanted to refine it, and add more stories, and when it was about, 200-300 pages long, I was like, this is too much. I don't want to read. A busy man don't want to read 300-page book. It's difficult, isn't it? You get your point across in the third of that. How many books do you read where they're like 250, 300 pages, and you finish reading it and you're like, really? That was a good book, but you could have got your point across in about 60, maybe 70 pages, give or take. So that's why. So I had to, again, refining it in that 2 weeks, getting it down to whatever it is, 100 and just over 100, maybe less, 100 pages, to getting the point across and having, give someone a point. So that's just as another example. So sit down and map out what you want to do. It could be for IBS. It could be a promotion at work. It could be you want to be a better dad, a better husband, a better fitter. You might, like me in the past, you might have put on some excess body fat and you want to lose that. This is a game changer. This is a complete game changer. And I believe in my heart and mind and wisdom, because I've done it and I've put it into practice time and time again, this is one of the massive pieces to the puzzle in crushing your goals. This is one of the reasons why people don't succeed in New Year's resolutions in like for next 2025 and beyond. How many resolutions have you seen where people have said, oh, I'm going to do such and such? And then they start off with good intentions. They go to the gym. The gyms are packed in January. And then February, they're still a bit busy. A few people have left. And then March, it's like a ghost town. It's just got the normal gym goers in there. For me, it's brilliant because I'm like, phew, I can actually get on the kit now. And you know, because I go all the time. And it's because people don't have a purpose. They don't have a big enough reason why. If you pull it all the way back, have a reason why, have a strong purpose, and you will crush your goals. You will crush it. Obviously, you've then got to find where or who can help you with the, you know, because you can't do everything yourself. You can read books and you can watch these videos all day long, but it won't. They're only going to give you little tiny pieces, aren't they? Little nibbles going forward. But if depending on what you're after in life, so if you want business, you know, for example, you want to grow your business and you want to take that to the next level, maybe it's 6 figures and you want to get it to 7 figures or multiple 7 figures, chances are you're going to need some coaching, a business coach, mentoring. You're going to need to tap into somebody else's knowledge and wisdom. Happy with that? But obviously, by doing that and having the purpose and the reasons why, you're going to be unstoppable. And the other thing is, it's going to get you through difficult times. That's what I've found, is when you've got, like, writing the book in 2 weeks, when I got going with that, I was all like, yeah, really excited, started typing out. Yeah, this is brilliant. By day 3, I was like, oh, this is so difficult. This is so difficult. I know what I want to teach. I've got all the chapters written out. I know I've mapped it out. It's difficult. And it's, you know, if you've written a book, you'll know where I'm coming from, because I don't know the saying from Mark Twain where I would have wrote it shorter, but I didn't have time. It's like, because it's easy to write loads of fluff and write loads and loads of stuff around something, but to get it right, to get it down to the most important stuff to get your point across, that's the tricky part. Believe it or not. So they write the book's quite easy, you know, 300-400 pages. I'll share the Dean Graziosi one with you. It's about 6 years old, but it's still relevant today. Don't just research it, put it into practice, because that's where the magic is. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power, is the saying. But when we put it into practice and find what works for us, and then stick to that and have that experience, then it becomes wisdom. And this is why I'm teaching it you now. I wouldn't have taught this to you if I'd just read a book on it and never put it into practice, or I would at least tell you that. I have put this into practice. My wife, Charlie Jean, has put it into practice. It works. And not only does it work, it's super powerful. Hope that helps. If the only ask I've got of this, if you like this, if you think somebody else could benefit from it, whether it's if you're listening to it on the podcast channel or watching it on the YouTube video channel, share it. Pass it on to somebody that could change their life as well. Pay it forward, because I can't help people. If you can help me help them, so to speak, I want to help a million men change their lives and get IBS mastery. But it starts, there's so much more to this, guys. There is so much more to IBS mastery than just some diet. And having mastery in life is phenomenal. It's a journey. It is a journey that we're always on, isn't it? And whether we master it, we've got money mastery, mastery over our health, as you know, wealth, happiness, IBS, anything. It's a journey. We're never going to get this. We're never be perfect. What is perfect? But we can get some amazing results, and we can get into a pretty good place in life with all the things I've just spoke about. All right, guys. Hope that makes sense. If it helped, whack a comment. Thanks, Glenn. Take care. All the best in wealth, health, and happiness. Have an amazing. Good luck with your goal setting in 2025 and beyond. And I hope it goes well. Get the reasons why, get the purpose, get an amazing purpose and some reasons why, and you'll crush it. Take care.